Hello and welcome back. So today we are going to build a project where we are going to work with clones of sprites. How to create copies of sprite using the cloning feature. So I will just preview the project or the work we are going to do in this session. So I will take it full screen here, and now if I click on this green flag, see now as I move the mouse, you can see this bat moving along with my mouse, and you can see the trail running behind, and as I move it with different size, it is changing. Now if I click the mouse, the sprite is going to change. When I click the mouse, now I have a different sprite, and as I move it, see its color is changing, its size is changing, and as my mouse moves, it is going to follow it. Then if I click the mouse again, I will get another sprite. If I click again, I am getting another sprite. See, as I move, if I click again, so like this I can keep changing the sprite with a mouse click, and I can create this kind of cool effects in the mouse. So we are going to create this effect understanding how clone works in Scratch. So with this now, I will come to scratch.mit.edu site, and here we are already logged into my account. You can see my name here, and now here I will click on this My Stuff button, and when I click on the My Stuff button, you can see our last 3 projects, and now we are going to start with our 4th project. So for this I will click on the new project. So we will wait till this creating project is over, and now here I will come to the name, and I am going to name this as clone effect. So I will give it the name as clone effect, and in clone effect, now as usual, so by default you are seeing this sprite. You can see this sprite. If I come to costumes, you have 2 sprites here. Right now what I will do is, I will select this second sprite. I does not need it, I will delete it. Now I will come back to code here, and in the code I am now going to come to events, and in events I am going to drag this when flag clicked. So when the flag is clicked, now the first thing I am going to use is, there is a feature here in controls. If you come to control here, you have a facility here called as create clone of myself. I am going to drag this create clone of myself, and I am going to attach it to this when flag clicked. Now when I execute this, see now what happens. Now you are still seeing only one cat here. However, if I drag this, you can see a copy of the cat created at the back. So we have, this is going to create a clone like this. Okay. So I will stop the playback. Once a clone is created, then you have another option here which is called as when I start as a clone. I am going to drag this, and when I start as a clone here, I will come to motion here, and I am going to drag this move 10 steps and put it over here. Now I am going to set this value to about 20. Now if I press the flag button, see the clone is created, and it has also moved by around 20 steps. Okay. So now I will stop it. Now I am going to introduce you to one very good effect in Scratch which you can attain it with mouse. So for this I will temporarily remove this create clone of myself. I will select this move 20 steps, drag it back, and I will delete it off. Now in the motion, if you see here, you have one feature here, point towards mouse pointer. So, if I drag this point towards mouse pointer and if I put it on when flag clicked, and now if I execute and test it, see now what happens is, in whichever direction the mouse is there, the sprite will turn in that direction. However, now this command is getting executed only once. As I move the mouse here, I want this sprite to turn towards my mouse. So, for this command has to be repeatedly executed. So, you know how to make a command get repeatedly executed by now. How do we do it? Yes, you are right. It is by creating loops. So, for this I will come to control. I am going to drag this forever loop and drop it over this point towards mouse pointer. Now, when I click on this flag and as I move the mouse, you can see the sprite is going to rotate in the direction in which my mouse is moving. So, in whichever direction I am going to move the mouse, this sprite is going to move. So, right now I will stop this playback. Now, the next thing I want is, this actual sprite should not only turn in the direction of the mouse, but I also want this sprite to move along with my mouse. So, for this, if I come back to motion, you have another option here, go to random position. I am going to drag this go to random position and put it below this point towards mouse pointer, and instead of random position here, I am going to choose mouse pointer. So, now if I execute this command, see now it not only turns in the direction of my mouse, but it also keeps moving along with my mouse. See, wherever I am moving it, this is going to move along with it. Okay. So, now I will stop this playback. Now, next what I am going to do is, now I am going to select this create clone of myself and put it below this go to mouse pointer. So, now this create clone is also looped, means now what happens is, the clone of this sprite is repeatedly created indefinitely. So, now if I execute it, see as I move, see the effect, it is moving and the clones are created continuously. I will stop it. See here one problem is, if you leave or execute it for a very long time, your browser may get hanged due to hundreds of clones created, because we have created this as a forever loop where keep on getting created. Now, as it creates, I also want to destroy the clone after a few seconds. That is, whatever the clone of this object is created, I want this clone to be destroyed or removed after a particular time, and this execution we are going to do it under this tab, which is when I start as a clone. And under this when I start as a clone, the first thing is I will come to controls and I am going to add a delay of 1 second. That is, after 1 second, if I scroll down here, you have an option delete this clone. I will drag this and put it over here. So, now what happens is, after every 1 second, this clone whichever is created will get deleted. So, now if I execute this by pressing on this flag button, now you can see as I drag, the clones are created, and at the same time the clone is also getting destroyed. See, if I leave it, see, it is getting destroyed after 1 second. So, this is the kind of effect that we are getting. So, right now what I will do is, I will stop this playback. Now, whenever this is moving, to create a better effect, I want the size of these sprites to decrease in size. The clone size has to decrease slowly and become smaller. So, for this what I will do is, I am going to again drag this when I start as a clone button. Remember, I can add 2 events separately and I can execute it, and when I execute it, these events will be executed independently. So, in case of first case, as soon as the clone is created, it will wait 1 second and it will delete it, and in the second case, I will come to this looks, and in looks you have an option here, change size by. I will select this option, change size by, and I will set it value to something negative. For example, I will set it as -3 and press enter. Now, if I execute it, now you are not seeing much of a difference, because what is happening is, this is getting executed only once. So, I will stop the playback. I will also make this change size by value from -3 to -5, and here also I will come to control and I will add a forever loop. So, I will add a forever loop to this. Now, if I execute it, now you can see the size is reducing as I move the mouse. So, this is creating a beautiful or a cool effect. So, as I am moving this sprite, the actual sprite is creating a trail of that sprite and it moves along with my mouse. So, right now I am going to stop it. Now, I will add one more effect. I want the color of this sprite to change as the clone is created. So, for this I will come to looks here, and in looks you have an option here, change color. I will drag this change color and put it below this create clone of myself, and I will set the value of this to around 1 and press enter. Now, if I execute it, now you can see the color of the sprite is changing gradually as I am moving it. Okay. So, this has created this kind of beautiful effect. So, right now I will again stop it. Right now, the last thing I want is, whenever I click on this sprite, I want this sprite to get changed. Right now, if you come to the costumes, you have only one costume. I will add some additional costumes here. Say for example, I will click on add costume here. I will click on choose a costume on the search button, and here I will come to animals, and in animals, say for example, I am going to select a butterfly. So, I will select this butterfly, and once I select this butterfly, this is added as the second sprite. Then I will again click here, come to choose a costume, and this time again come to animal, and I am going to choose a beetle. So, I will add the third sprite as a beetle. Now, again I will click here and come to choose a costume. I will come to animal and let us select some other animal here in the list. Say for example, I am going to select this dragonfly A. So, I will select this and add this, and then I will, if required, I will zoom out and see, yeah, this is fine. And finally, I will add one more costume. I will come to animals and let us see, do we have snake? I will type snake and see, yeah, I have the snake. I select snake as the fifth costume. So, I have added 5 costumes here. I will come back to costume 1 here. Now, coming back to code, as of now if I execute it, there is no effect of these costumes. However, now when I click on the mouse, I want this costume to change. So, for this I will stop the playback here, and now I am going to add a if then statement. So, for this I will again come to control, and in control I will choose if then. I will use this and put it below this change color. If required, I will drag this little to the top, and in this if then, this is a conditional loop which gets executed until a particular condition is true. Now, the condition we are going to test here is, I will come here to sensing and I am going to choose the condition as mouse down. That is, it will test for the condition whether I have clicked the mouse down, and if I have clicked the mouse down, then I will come to looks and I am going to choose this option next costume. So, with this code added, now if I click on this flag, you can now see this is working on the cat initially, but if I click the mouse, see now this changed to beetle, and now if I click the mouse once again, see this changed to snake. Okay. So, this is changed to snake. Then if I click once again, this will change to butterfly. See, the butterfly is flying and you are getting this effect, and if I again click it, this will change to the dragonfly. So, we have created this cool effect using the clone feature. So, with this we are going to conclude this project. You need not use the costumes which I have used here. I will stop it. Now, in costume you choose your own sprites here instead of that. So, with this what I will do is, now I will come back to code, and here I will come to save now, and I will come to my stuff, and here for this clone effect I will select this clone effect, and in instruction I am going to tell this is a simple example to showcase the cloning effect of scratch, and also follow mouse and point to mouse functions. So, I will add the instruction like this, then I am going to click on the share button. So, now if you just select this link, right click, copy it and share this link in the video comments or in the LMS. So, with this we are concluding our project, and in the next project we are going to work on actually building some real games. So, let us start building games from our next session. Thank you.